Let's go check in with Henry, see what he's about. Cooking as usual.
I'm about Friuli. You know where Friuli is?
No.
You ever been to Friuli?
No.
Friuli?
I didn't know it was a place.
It's a region of Italy. And this is Elisabeth Crawford, and she has created a book called Flavors of Friuli. It is unique. It's different from just about any Italian cuisine. It has a lot of influences from the north and the west and the east. Anyway, we're going to show you some great way to create some beautiful, what do you call these little things?
Frico croccante.
Frico croccante.
Ooh,
so we're going to be coming up with that. And by the way, Gabe Slade, our high-tech reporter, is going to be joining us, and we have some exercise for you. It's all coming up.
Oh,
okay,
cool.
Thanks, Henry. See you in a bit.
Like a taco shell. We're going to check in with Henry. He's cooking, or at least the person with him is cooking, Italian.
We're going to pay a visit to Friuli, which is a region of Italy which has truly distinct cuisine. It's got its own language, in fact, and it's really nothing like the rest of Italy's cuisine. For example, how about a pasta filled with chocolate and nuts? We're going to meet the author of the book, Flavors of Friuli, and find out how you can create some of their fine cuisine. Coming up on KRON 4 News Weekend. So you are watching the creation of a Friulian dish. Did I say that right? Friulian? Is there such a thing as Friulian?
Friulian.
Friuli is a region of Italy that is like no other area in Italy, or for that matter, in the world, right? What mixture of what kinds of different
well, there's an influence from the neighboring countries, Austria, Hungary, Slovenia, also the Veneto region in Italy.
Right. So what you've got is this amalgamation of these different cultures that have come together in this place called Friuli, which, by the way, has its own language.
Furlan.
Furlan. And Elisabeth Antoine Crawford has written Flavors of Friuli, a culinary journey through northeastern Italy. It's a gorgeous book with some truly unique dishes in here. So Friuli it was on a spice route, I guess?
Yeah, it was on the path of the ancient spice trade. So you had spices coming in from the Far East, like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Also from Central Europe, you've got poppy seeds, paprika, caraway seeds, and all of those find their way into the cooking here.
Right, and so one of the, I guess you'd say, tipico dishes in Friuli is these, Dean, which... Tell us what these are called.
Well, this is Frico croccante that we're making today. Frico is melted cheese. Croccante means crispy. And what we're doing here is just frying up what they would use in Friuli typically was Montasio cheese.
Montasio?
Montasio. Right, and there are three types, aged, semi-aged, and fresh. What we're using today is aged. You can also substitute Parmigiano Reggiano, Pecorino Romano, any kind of aged cheeses. Okay. And I think we're ready to take those off here and let it sit for a moment.
Here's the trick on this.
The trick is if you try to get it out right away, it's going to clump up on you. So you have to let it sit for just a few moments, and then you can get the spatula.
So we're trying this experiment on TV because actually this is a little induction stove here, which is not one that's real familiar to Elisabeth. So, but I think you've got it pretty well.
And
somehow that's going to turn into this. So the fillings in here are what? Typically?
Well, these are things that they would typically use in Friuli. You've got prosciutto di San Daniele from the town of San Daniele. Here we have grilled polenta. Here is a soft polenta topped with ricotta salata. There they typically would use a smoked ricotta affumicata. Can't find that here so easily. But they also do make the ricotta salata. And then over on the other side we have mushrooms.
So take a look at this dish over here. This is called, I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Kielchons.
So you can see the languages. I mean, that does not look like Italian.
It's a Furlan word, actually.
Yeah, Kielchons.
Kielchons.
And what is this?
That one is actually filled with chocolate and nuts.
Pasta.
Pasta filled with chocolate and nuts, sprinkled with cinnamon, sugar, and smoked ricotta cheese.
Wow. You did all the photography?
I did, yeah.
That's amazing. So how are we doing
this is the tricky part.
Watch carefully,
and we're just
ladies and gentlemen. You have to use a green plastic. Oh, nice.
My son's juice cup. So we just flip it over and let it sit there until it's hardened, and then you can turn it over into a plate and fill it.
And so this is what you end up with. And I'm just going to bite into one of these, okay? So what do? Do you just break off a piece?
Sure.
Is that, now, what are some of the other typical dishes?
Goulash is very popular. It's Hungarian, but in Friuli, often they will use tomatoes, which is not part of the traditional Hungarian recipe, but it's the Italian touch that they'll add to it.
There's another interesting dish.
Oh, yeah, they have a lot of gnocchi. This gnocchi recipe is filled with plums, also sprinkled with sugar, cinnamon, and also tossed with brown butter and breadcrumbs.
So you get the feeling there's a lot more sweet in their dishes.
That's what I fell in love with, the sweet and savory aspect of the dishes.
And how about like the architecture? Does it look different from the rest of Italy?
Yeah, it's like traveling through Austria. You've got the Alpine chalets, onion dome church steeples. It's beautiful.
So this book is actually a combination of a travel book and, I'm sorry, would you talk for a minute while I finish this?
It's more than just a cookbook. You've got sections on the history, the culture, and how those influence the cuisine, a lot of tourist sites, and just everything about Friuli.
Thank you. You can stop filling for me now, and I will tell folks that you will be appearing, you know that, but they don't, at the Omnivore Books, Sunday, September 12th. 3 to 4. You can go to omnivorebooks.com for more information, or you can go to Elisabeth's website, which is flavorsofFriuli.com, with or without all of those hyphens. Thank you very much for sharing some. Never heard of this region. It sounds like a great place to visit.
It's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be showing you how to do a little exercising without straining too hard, but keeping yourself in great shape. Coming up, KRON 4 News Weekend.